Welcome back to LifeBites Live. I'm Nina Bosky, and with me today is the member of the Hollywood elite, Jodi Wing, author of The Art of Social War. That is right. Jodi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nina.
I'm so glad to have you here. So, how did you come up with this idea and story?
Well, first of all, I about 10 years ago got married to a great guy and was really forced to relocate at gunpoint to Hollywood, which is what I say. But as you know, Hollywood is really a concept, not a real place. Kind of like navigating the tables in the junior high school cafeteria your very first day, except I was in my 30s now. And it wasn't my first barbecue. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. So this is interesting. You talk about bad behavior and girl-on-girl crime. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think, and it was really the test when I sort of landed here in Oz, which is a very extreme culture. But I thought that, I know that women are really of two minds regarding other women. Yeah. On one hand, we have this expectation of sisterhood and unity. On the other hand, we're really wary due to past negative experiences. And I found myself like dreamweavering back to when I was 12 or 13, and all these feelings that I hadn't had since then were sort of manifesting. And I kept asking myself and every other woman that I know, why? Why as this adult, fully capable woman am I feeling like that? And I realized, I had this dawning of a realization that I had landed in Girl World 2.0. Which to me is sort of all that crap and confusion and social pressure you thought you were done with when you graduated high school.
So, now that you were working with kids now, how did that come about in this whole strategy of doing the book?
Well, it's sort of when the book came out, what I was really surprised about, because it is a novel, it's satire. I mean, it is my war story from my own front line of battle. But I was really surprised because it resonated with women and different readers in a really non-fictional way. Because they would say, I loved your book and here's why. You can't believe what goes on in mommy pickup. You can't believe what goes on in the boardroom. I mean, all this body snarking and throwing each other under the bus and all this crazy stuff. And I realized that, as Sun Tzu would say, emotions do color everything. And to be green with envy or red with rage or tangled up in blue prevents clarity. And clarity is the path to invincibility, to empowerment. And I had this opportunity to work with this fantastic group called LA's Best. And they are the premier after-school enrichment program here in Los Angeles. And I was invited in as a visiting author to meet the kids and maybe get involved mentoring. And I lucked into a class of 25 8 to 12-year-old little girls who were just learning to use their voices in terms of reading and writing.
So give me a little bit of what comes out of the classroom. I'm sure you hear a lot.
Oh, we hear so much. I hear so much. And it's fascinating to have this opportunity to talk to what I call, if we're living in Girl World 2.0, they're pre-Girl World 1.0. This is the age when these kinds of behaviors and that kind of negative thinking begin. And, it's been very interesting. To your point, Nina, I'm in a fantastic group now at the Maurice Sendak School. And usually I start out by saying, sticks and stones will break my bones, and the girls usually say, but words will never harm me. And we talk about how words can hurt, but words also can heal. And instead of doing the second part, which we all grew up with, they quoted, sticks and stones will break my bones, and they said, but whips and chains excite me. Okay, they're 11. Oh. And they're quoting from a Rihanna song, which really brings it back to, the Rihanna, Chris Brown kerfuffle, these girls. Can you imagine it's hard enough being an adult woman and the housewives and the mob wives and the basketball wives and everybody out to get each other. If you're 11 and you're getting this crazy messaging from rap videos and the Kardashians and 16 and pregnant, how do they assimilate that? And we had a very interesting conversation that day about this Chris Brown Rihanna thing, because most of the hate that was coming their way was directed at Rihanna from other women, from girls and women. And if I tell you that my 25 12-year-olds were sitting there making excuses for this behavior, saying, well, maybe she slept with a friend of his, and then another one said, well, you know, Chris Brown is really fancy, and and had a bad day.
That is such a huge thing, because parents out there, it's hard with the media exposure that we have right now. What would you say to the parents out there that may be watching, especially mothers right now? It's women empowerment, that they have young girls that are coming up through the ranks right now.
Well, I think it is. You know, Mary Pfeiffer once said that we live in a girl poisoning junk culture, and we do. And I think on one hand, it's so shocking to hear what 12-year-olds think, because they don't know the difference. But I think that what it really is a great teachable moment where you can sit down and watch Teen Mom, which is just as bananas as can be, but talk to your child, especially your girls, because they're so easily impressionable, because they have that comparative thing where if she's pretty, I'm ugly. It's very strange with girls, but I think it's such a great opportunity since it exists. You can't deny it.
I wish I had you when I was growing up. I mean, when we were growing up, it was a whole different story. I mean, we didn't learn that, and I'm probably still just learning it.
Yeah,
so.
I think we all are, and I really want to change the way girls and women think. I wish I had this information when I was that age, and I find that they really just absorb it and become it, and that's very empowering.
So I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. It was a pure delight.
Thank you, Nina.
And I think the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, or any of them, need to take note. So for more information and more details, go to theartofsocialwar.com. So.
You know I have a whole army. I'm raising an army.
You're raising an army. I love it.
Of good behavior.
I have good behavior. Woman power. Yeah. Thanks again.
Thank you, Nina.